Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a Victoria woman and 2 other co-defendants face various charges. And 3 people were hurt at the State Fair of Texas during a shooting over the weekend. 1 suspect is in custody. And authorities in Dallas are investigating a vehicle crash where a 16-year-old girl remains on life support.
Well, we had a beautiful weekend, lots of sunshine and cool temperatures. The sunshine will be with us, but the cooler, warmer weather will be with us. And I'll have that coming up for you in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Plus, a federal judge has issued another gag order against Donald Trump. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. James Munoz is on assignment. Victoria police arrested 22-year-old Christina Berger on Cameron Street Sunday night. She's facing robbery charges. She is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $100,000 bond. And Victoria police arrested this man, 23-year-old Diego Serena, on charges of kidnapping, engaging in organized criminal activity, and burglary of a habitation with intent to commit another felony. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a bond of totaling up to $130,000. Authorities arrested and charged 25-year-old Elisa Chavez with robbery. She also faces 5 misdemeanor charges. She is in the Victoria County Jail. 25 News Now has reached out to the Victoria Police Department for details on this arrest. Authorities say the 3 people we just showed you are co-defendants in a case. Calhoun County Sheriff's deputies arrested 54-year-old Amy Michelle Sellers late Sunday night at the Office Bar in Port O'Connor. Sellers charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of a $5,000 bond. Hallettsville police arrested 32-year-old Derek Joshua Garza Velasquez in the 500 block of East 4th Street. He's found to have an outstanding warrant out of the McAllen Police Department for interference with child custody. He was arrested on the warrant and he is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of a $10,000 bond. Lavaca County commissioners lifted the burn ban in that area. Authorities asking to please use extreme caution when burning and only when weather conditions allow. The burn ban was put into effect in Lavaca County July 10th. And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, it was a beautiful weekend. We had Cuero Fest over the weekend. The weather was just everything you could hope for.
Oh yeah, look at this live picture. That's Cuero High School, and they're still having a good time. You know, I hope they're happy that we brought them some spectacular weather. It certainly was a terrific weekend for much about anything. This weather will be staying on the dry side, but you know what? It's going to start warming up a little bit, but not to worry. Low humidity is always pleasant, and we'll talk more about it coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. And now we go to the latest in the war with Israel and the Hamas.
8 trucks and ambulances are now stationed at Egypt's border with Gaza, waiting for the Rafah crossing to open. Many people are also gathering on the Gaza side, hoping to be among the passport holders allowed out of the war zone to safety, including Zakaria Al-Areisha from Michigan, who was visiting family in Gaza City when Hamas launched its deadly terror attack.
I can't sleep, a lot of bomb. No water, no food, no nothing, no life here, no life.
Despite pleas from Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Egypt's president, Egypt's still refusing to open the border unless Israel allows food, water, and fuel to flow back into Gaza. ABC obtaining audio reports from Doctors Without Borders staff inside Gaza.
I mean, today we were for 2 hours searching for drinkable water, no electricity. I mean, we don't know what will be tomorrow and where we are going.
A senior State Department official saying Egypt has informed the U.S. that there are acute security threats near the crossing, which currently prevent U.S. officials and others from aiding Americans inside Gaza. It comes as Israel prepares for a potential ground invasion into Gaza, amassing some 360,000 reservists. An Israeli lieutenant colonel telling our Matt Gutman some of their forces are already inside Gaza.
So there are specialized Israeli units probing into the area in Gaza pretty much as we speak.
We have special forces and regular infantry, artillery, tanks, armored divisions, and battalions that are operating in that area.
Israeli airstrikes continuing. Israel Defense Forces saying they've killed the head of Hamas's general intelligence. More than 2,700 Palestinians have been killed during the Israeli retaliation, nearly 10,000 wounded. In Israel, more than 1,400 killed by Hamas, including 30 Americans.
President Biden is considering a visit to Israel, but a senior U.S. official tells ABC News any trip would only be to soften the hardliners inside the Netanyahu government who are blocking food and water from entering Gaza. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Jerusalem.
A Royal Caribbean cruise ship carrying U.S. nationals departed a northern Israel port Monday. The ship departed at about 8 a.m. Eastern Time. That journey is expected to take 10 to 12 hours. Only U.S. nationals and their immediate families were eligible for passage. The U.S. Embassy in Israel, the evacuees, are responsible for their travel onward. The Biden administration is also chartering flights as a way to evacuate stranded Americans. Those chartered flights began Friday. Now, a student at a Texas A&M has passed after falling from a dorm balcony Sunday morning. The school identified her as a health major named Brittany Romero. Campus police are currently investigating the death, and the school says a justice of the peace has ordered an autopsy. Texas A&M is offering sympathy to her family and counseling to students. A 16-year-old high school student is on life support after she was involved in a vehicle crash in Dallas. However, medical examiners say her injuries didn't come from the crash, and they're opening an investigation.
They're tough questions.
Mom questions that I have.
LaRonda Jackson yearns to have answers to.
Aaliyah, who did it? Aaliyah, why?
About how her TikTok-loving daughter, Aaliyah, ended up in a hospital bed on life support.
And I just feel empty and hopeless. It's because till today, it's been 2 weeks my baby's been laying here.
The 16-year-old Lancaster High Jr. was rushed to the hospital around 5 a.m. September 28th. A crash report shows she was a passenger in a car that wrecked in Dallas off of I-30 near 45. The driver and another passenger fled the scene, leaving a gravely hurt Aaliyah behind. But according to the crash report, medical staff determined it wasn't the wreck that caused her injuries.
Fractures here, fractures in her back and her bones lower down. She had a big bruise.
Jackson says Aaliyah went into the hospital as a Jane Doe without her cell phone or ID, and she didn't find her until the next day after she'd filed a missing persons report.
We got there, and Aaliyah was laying there with a million trillion tubes in her. She wasn't conscious. She was just there.
Leaving the mom of three wondering what kind of person would leave her child like that.
It's crazy. It's just like they really just left her for dead. And that's the hurtful point.
Jackson says she believes her daughter was picked up by a so-called friend early that morning and may have been beaten up before the wreck based on a video circulating on social media. Dallas police are now investigating.
I know for sure the wreck was just God intervening.
Doctors now monitoring the teen's brain function.
I'm going to be here all step of the way, through the speech therapy, through the rehab, through the neurologist.
And praying for her daughter's recovery.
Are you optimistic?
Very.
In Dallas.
Very.
I'm Janelle Ford.
A man is in jail after police say he started shooting at the Texas Fair of Texas. Police arrested 22-year-old Cameron Turner. He's charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault for the shooting. Police responded to a call of an active shooter at the fairground around 7:45 p.m. Saturday. 2 witnesses told police they saw a man shooting in the food court multiple times before running away. Reopening was delayed on Sunday until 2 p.m. to help everyone get back in place and to add additional security inside Fair Park and around the perimeter. Authorities said the extra security was an effort to make visitors and fair workers feel more comfortable about returning.
We live in the Metroplex. Stuff happens. It's everyday life. It's not easy. It's not always pleasant, but I felt fine here. No anxiety, no problem at all. Felt good.
Turner was taken into custody by a Dallas police officer and 2 state troopers. Court documents reveal that Turner told police several times he was trying to protect his family and went into defensive mode and started shooting when he felt threatened by a group of men. 3 people were hurt in the shooting, but they're expected to be okay. Republican Representative Jim Jordan is pushing to be the next Speaker of the House. However, he's facing an uphill battle in his quest due to some members in the House GOP.
It's been 13 days since Representative Kevin McCarthy was voted out as Speaker of the House. and the role is still vacant.
It's time to end the Republican Civil War so we can get back to doing the business of the American people.
The Republican conference nominated Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio for Speaker last week. However, numerous GOP sources tell CNN dozens of House Republicans will vote no for Jordan.
Nothing's impossible, but it's going to be really, really difficult based on what I'm hearing.
To become Speaker of the House, a nominee has to secure the majority of the full House, which, because of 2 vacancies, is 217 votes. That means any Republican, in this case Jordan, can only lose 4 GOP votes if the Democrats unanimously vote for Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
We want to ensure that votes are taken on bills that have substantial Democratic support and substantial Republican support so that the extremists aren't able to dictate the agenda.
The House is expected to hold a vote for House Speaker on Tuesday, according to an email CNN obtained from House Minority Whip Catherine Clark.
We have a lot of people on the bench. I think Jim Jordan will be an excellent speaker. I think he'll be able to get to 217. If not, we have other leaders in the House.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A federal judge has issued a limited gag order against former President Donald Trump in his election subversion case. U.S. District Judge Tana Chutkan's order bars Trump from targeting prosecutors, possible witnesses, and the judge's staff. The order marks a milestone moment in the federal case accusing Trump of illegally conspiring to overturn his 2020 election loss to Democrat Joe Biden. Special counsel Jack Smith's team raised alarm about Trump's statements against prosecutors, the judge, and witnesses. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A landlord in Chicago faces charges in a stabbing attack that left 1 child dead and his mother in the hospital. Also ahead, a new class action settlement is forbidding the separation of migrant children from their families at the border. A crime and murder of a 6-year-old boy near Chicago is being held without bond. That was a judge's decision today in the case of Joseph M. Zuba. Prosecutors say he stabbed the boy and wounded his mother over the weekend. They argue the family's Muslim faith and the war in Israel motivated these attacks. He's due back in court October 30th. Meanwhile, the boy's mother is still recovering in the hospital from the attack and will not be able to attend her son's funeral. The federal government will no longer be allowed to separate migrant families if a federal court approves a new settlement. The deal was reached between the Biden administration and the ACLU today. It forbids families from being separated from an 8-year period, except in limited circumstances like when someone has committed a serious felony. It comes after 2,800 children were separated from their parents under former President Donald Trump's zero-tolerance immigration policy. Now, as vaping continues in teenagers, 2 counties in the Crossroads have made it their mission to end that trend. So here is your viewer poll this afternoon. The question is vaping an issue at your child's school? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Now, the CDC says RSV leads to more than 2 million visits to the emergency room and up to 80,000 hospitalizations among children. Here's more.
It's a new weapon against a common and contagious virus that may change the hold that RSV can have over young children during respiratory virus season.
It gives an extra layer of protection to these babies, so if they get RSV, they won't get as sick.
Dr. Juanita Mora with the American Lung Association says the new treatment is a monoclonal antibody. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends it for all babies younger than 8 months born during or entering their first RSV season. A vaccination can also be given during pregnancy if you're 32 to 36 weeks pregnant in RSV season, which is September through January in most of the country. The antibody is also recommended for some children between the ages of 8 and 19 months who are at higher risk of severe illness because of a pre-existing condition.
Now it's readily available in pediatricians' offices, and it's also available in Department of Health clinics.
Most people, including infants who get RSV, have only mild symptoms similar to a cold, but it can also be severe, even life-threatening. Mora says RSV can cause dehydration if a child won't eat or drink and can make it hard to breathe.
These are the 2 indications that I teach parents where they should take them immediately to the emergency department.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
A new congressional report suggests wildfires are costing the U.S. economy as much as $893 billion each year. A Trump administration report projected the yearly cost was $427 billion. There was a wide range of factors, including the impact on real estate value, premature deaths, and health risks from wildfire smoke, threats to watersheds, and income loss. The hit to the U.S. real estate value is by far the largest portion of the total cost. It's estimated real estate has suffered 67 to 337 billion a year due to wildfires.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We've got a beautiful day out there, low humidity, cool weather, very delightful. We are currently at 73 degrees. Nice, right? Let's see what our high temperature was for today. We only got up to 73, so we'll get a load of that. I mean, it was actually kind of chilly out there this morning. Now, we were down into the 40s. For the next couple of days, we're going to warm up, believe it or not, into the 80s and maybe 90. But not to worry. I think you're going to like it. We'll talk more about it coming up in a moment. Well, hello, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. It certainly was a beautiful weekend. Low humidity, cool temperatures. We got down to 47 this morning, so it was rather chilly. And, of course, it got up to the 70s. But for the next couple of days, we're actually going to warm up pretty dramatically. But, you know, the difference is the humidity. It's not going to be very high. As a result, yeah, it'll be warm in the afternoon, but it'll get nice and cool at nighttime. What we have over us is not much happening. High pressure is on top of us, kind of like that dome of doom that we had a while back. But it's not that intense. And of course, now that the sun is going farther and farther south, we're not going to have the same kind of solar insolation that we were having over the summer. Well, the frontal system came through and left us with a beautiful couple of days out there. And for the next couple of days, what we're having is high pressure on top of us. So it's going to be fair, very sunny, very dry, but getting warmer. That's the only problem that we're going to be getting. Now, later on in the future, this week, we're going to get another front that's going to bring us back to more comfortable temperatures. Get a load of this tonight. We're looking at 47 again for us, and in the 50s out in San Antonio, and in the 40s and 30s up in the Panhandle. That's tonight. Tomorrow, we're looking for temperatures upper 70s. Okay, a little warmer. And then by the time we get to Wednesday, okay, a little bit warmer. And then we wait for that next front, which is not until about Thursday. We'll talk about that. Well, here it is, as a matter of fact. I don't know if you noticed, the Northeast had a horrible weekend with this monster storm basically circulating around everything. If you got family back there, do me a favor, seriously, this is very serious. If they're getting fall color, call them, get them to send you a picture and send it to me, and we'll share it here, because we're not going to get that stuff, you know? I mean, we just get sunny, warm, and dry. So there's storm number one. There's high pressure number one, giving us the pleasant weather. And as we go through the next 3 or 4 days, you can see high pressure is going to be going across the United States. The next Pacific front starts rolling in, and that one will start pushing into Texas sometime on Thursday. I think that by Thursday night, it will actually come through here. Now, let's just say I'm not ready to commit to any rain with the frontal passage right now, although the model says so, but I'm not ready. I think it'll be too dry for there to be any kind of rain. So that will come through and will get us back to the cooler weather. If you have a chance to go fishing tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., and look at that, your sunset is now at 6:55 p.m., getting earlier and earlier. Well, in Port Lavaca, they're getting down to 53, up to 74. Can't beat it. Absolutely gorgeous. And then again in Cuero, 46 in the morning, 75 in the afternoon. Very comfortable. And here's how the temperatures are going to kind of rebound. First 78, then 82, then 86, then 90 before the front comes through. And then a slow weakening, and we'll start getting back to the mid-80s early next week. So like I said, I'm not sure that we can commit to rain on Friday when that front comes through, but we'll certainly be updating for you as we go along. That's your 7-day forecast. Here's your QR code. I want you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. That's it from the weather front. We'll toss it back to Karina.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy due to legal issues. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 315 points, the S&P 500 up 46 points, and the Nasdaq up 161 points. Oil down $1.03, closing at $86.66 a barrel. Rite Aid has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This move comes in the aftermath of legal battles where they are accused of filling opioid prescriptions unlawfully. Thursday, the company filed a notice to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission saying it wouldn't be able to file its latest quarterly financial report. Company lenders plan to shut down, or rather leaders plan to shut down some of its stores and sell off other stores. Rite Aid says it secured $3.5 billion from lenders to help keep the company running during the bankruptcy process. High hopes for electric vehicle sales are starting to run into slipping demand from drivers. Electric vehicle sales are still up more than 50% compared to a year ago, but the rate is down and some brands are starting to see inventory grow. Car makers are now starting to offer discounts and deals to get drivers to make that switch. Austin is going through obstacles in its goal to make the city go green. The city approved a plan in 2020 to shut down a coal power plant, but forces have gotten in the way. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on our crossroadstoday.com website. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, a police officer in New Hampshire completes a driver's DoorDash delivery. Plus, here's a look at what's coming up on World News Tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
This week, the Israel-Hamas war, the new attacks inside Gaza, plus the heightened security here at home. More Americans turn to the most watched newscast on television. World News Tonight with David Muir.
The police motto, to protect and serve, generally doesn't mean serving food, but one officer did last week after pulling over a DoorDash driver in New Hampshire. Police said the driver was pulled over for speeding. When they ran the driver's information, they found the license and registration were suspended. The officers wanted to help the driver complete her McDonald's DoorDash order, so they delivered it for her. The customer said he was grateful the officers made sure he got his food. Well,
yeah, that's nice.
There was a good ending for someone there.
It's hard to be a DoorDash deliverer if you don't have a car.
Yeah, that is tough. But Mac, this weekend weather that we were just talking about earlier was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Did you get to see the eclipse?
Yes, I did. It was pretty interesting. I hope everybody got a chance to look at it. And for this week, we continue with the sunny, dry weather. It's going to warm up all the way back to the 90s there by Thursday, but not to worry, with low humidity, it's going to be fairly comfortable. And then by next weekend, we start getting back into the mid 80s, so not to worry. In fact, right now, okay, write this down.
Writing it down.
October 25th.
What do we got that day?
Big storm coming in from the west. Big storm. So 25th, all right? Just remember that. I don't know if you have outdoor plans or something, but I believe we're going to see one of those big Pacific storms roll across the Rockies and then push into our area with significant rainfall. This is looks big on the models, so we'll see how it holds together. So we'll just wait for that one. Okay.
All right, we got to be careful. Mark it down for October 25th.
We'll be here. I'll be jumping up and down, waving my arms.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you, Mac, and thanks for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.